Hi and welcome back to the channel. So for this video we thought we'd quickly kind of go over some of the, news from New York Comic Con. There wasn't a lot. There are ongoing strikes, so that's been a problem all year round.
Nevertheless, they cracked on with the Star Trek Universe panel on should be last Saturday, like 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah. So, for me, I think the most interesting thing was some of the things that weren't mentioned. So we didn't get a single thing about Star Trek Legacy, which is
But I think
a lot of people are hoping for.
Sort of mentioned this, and I think obviously due to some of the ongoing strikes, potentially maybe in the background, maybe the writers might be working on it, but until they can get the cast on side, they can't sign contracts. Obviously, at the moment, they can't talk to them about it. So therefore, as far as I'm concerned, everyone that I've seen that would be involved in it, Jerry Ryan, Michelle Hurd, they've all made nods towards it, saying, we'd be there. Yeah, we just need to get this out of the way.
I just think it's unfortunate that it kind of means that the entire... It's not through no fault of the makers, I suppose. Although, no, it is. They didn't greenlight. That it kind of just has a whole air of disappointment. So everything in the news for it, I'm just like, well, it wasn't that though, is it?
There is. I also think though, if we're going to have Legacy, then save it for the 60th anniversary. Yeah. So we've still got a year, couple of years. Yeah, got a couple of years yet. So if it's going to be announced next year, they can ride that wave then for once.
They're still getting the shaky fist of anger from me for it, though.
Yeah.
So, on the stuff that they did talk about, so we got a couple of Trust Me Bro, It's Happenings from Alex Kurtzman, which is that the Section 31 movie is totally going ahead. Trust me, it's going to happen. Probably is.
Again, strikes.
Yeah, strikes.
Probably would have been filming now, I should imagine.
That one I do think is going to happen. We got a little bit more on the Starfleet Academy show. Does anybody... Yeah, Tandy Newsom. Well, she announced ages ago that she was going to be writing for it, though.
But they kind of just make out like she was more senior writing now.
Could have done.
Did I misunderstand?
I think it's just more that she'd announced it on her Twitter X thing, but now they've put it on their official thing.
One thing I will say is, and again, I'm not really bothered about this Starfleet Academy show, but I'll give it a try, like I have with all.
Well, I was going to say, does anyone really want this?
But one thing I will say is, we do say the good Trek shows are run by the people that love and like Trek.
That's true.
And she is a massive Star Trek fan.
She?
Oh yes, she knows her Trek.
She does
as much as me.
I don't know very much about it.
I've seen her in interviews. She's very hot on things.
Oh God, she's as bad as you.
Yes. Worse, I'd actually say. Worse,
I don't want to meet her. No.
But so it might.
Okay.
Not be what we want, but we might get something good out of it.
All I could think for that was, I'm not particularly taken with it, but at the same time, one of the complaints a lot of people have for things like Discovery is that it feels a lot like a teen kind of show, the dialogue and all the rest of it.
We might get a teen show.
Well, this is it. I'm like, are they just going to embrace it? So part of me is like, oh, well, if it's in the right setting, it might not irk me. I'm not even 100% ever going to happen at this stage.
I know. You said it's going to film, though, didn't you?
I know, but at the same time, will it film anytime soon? Because how long ago was Section 31 announced? Wasn't it during Series 2 of Discovery?
But in fairness to on that one, she went off to film films, which probably scheduling, and then I should imagine the window was now.
Yeah.
And strikes.
Do you know what I think happened? I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. I think that thing, they'd announced it. Paramount were like, yeah, sure, okay, we're just going to keep pushing that back because we're not too sure if we even want to bother with it. She won the Oscar. And then they went, actually, can we do this thing? She can't do much. Now it's a TV movie. That's what I think happened.
But in fairness, whilst this was all going on, I did see a lot of interviews with her, and she did mention it herself.
She always mentioned...
Without being brought up, people didn't have to ask her about
I don't think that she wasn't keen. I don't think Paramount were keen until she won the Oscar.
I don't know.
I don't think they were that bothered. Although I have heard that Kurtzman does this thing where he just will blurt out that they're doing something, and Paramount on behind the scenes are like, we what? And it's because the word's got out, it's in all the press, now there's like an obligation to do it. They've done it with the movies a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, but then comes on to the other thing he said at Comic-Con, which was there's other shows, other projects in the background of it, and I've got the full backing from the top people at his exact words were, and I've got the full backing from the top people at Paramount, which makes me think Star Trek Legacy is one of those things, because
hopefully
there's one thing that they're going to back him on.
Like I said, I'm curious about the whole thing because we've had comments from Matt Mahon. Lower Decks, where he's saying, you've got to watch her, it might not carry on, which... Yeah. And then we had Prodigy, which they kind of shelved. Now it's going to Netflix. But again, we're not 100% sure it's going to carry on after Series 2. Yeah. Discovery's been shelved. Now that's finished. Picard's been shelved. That's finished.
That was always going to be 3 seasons.
That was always going to, yeah.
They did announce that.
So Yeah, I don't know. It almost feels like the closing of the book. And now they're saying, "Oh no, stuff is going to carry on." I'm not sure how much credence I've got for it. I mean, it's probably is. I'm not saying it isn't, but I don't know. I've got my doubts. There are a couple of other things announced. We got a comic book announcement, which is like, is it like Lost Sons or something? It's Alexander Worf's son, Q's son. There are two others who I can't remember off the top of my head.
I saw the couple, the two, but I can't remember. I can't remember
the other two, but yeah.
What's his name as well? The clothesline. Cudi kid?
Oh God, I was about to get to that in a minute. Yes, so we got this. Yeah, we've got this weird. They've got the clothing line and crossover. Kid Cudi.
So I think I don't know who he is.
And there's a Fortnite crossover event with Captain Kid Cudi as well.
Yes.
And I don't know. It reminds me of the Star Trek is many things. One of the things I would never call it is cool. Right? I love it to bits. I don't think it's particularly
theory
cool.
where this all came from, though.
What's that?
Because Alex Kurtzman did say in an interview that his son is a massive fan of
Kid Cudi. Right.
And I've just got a funny feeling that he went,
It just feels like them trying to be, and I get where they're coming from, and maybe it'll work and bring in some young fans and whatever, but it just feels like, the Steve Buscemi meme of him with the skateboard saying, "Hey dudes," in the school, trying to look cool and young. That's what this feels like to me. I groan at it. So
the only thing for me is,
the clothing line looks okay.
I've got to say, I don't know who he is, but
yeah.
I actually looked at him for. I didn't think it's overpriced though.
I was about to say it's bloody overpriced.
And I don't play Fortnite, but obviously if there's a Star Trek crossover, I'd be tempted to turn it on. So it's. I suppose it swings and roundabouts for all brands, isn't it?
It will get some interest from corners that it wouldn't have normally gotten interest from. I don't think that's necessarily going to translate into. Maybe it will. If the quality's there and people give it a chance, they'll continue watching it. Would be the hope.
Still,
we'll have to wait and see. I just can't see it myself.
Again, I think you're talking about it soon for more Star Trek games, and we've had this year alone 2 Star Trek games that. Obviously, I've played Resurgence. You played Resurgence. I haven't played Star Trek Infinite.
I have played Star Trek Infinite. I will be having a review of it up soon.
I would like it on a console release. I unfortunately don't play on PC, so I am missing out. But
they'd have to slow down the rate quite a bit for it to work on console. I think.
Stellaris is out on it though.
What, on console?
Yep.
Oh well, I've got no excuse then.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally
get that working.
So yeah.
Having said that, I'm saying they'd need to slow it down. I am playing at double speed. But back to Comic-Con, that was kind of about it, wasn't it? It was mostly just
merchandise.
Yeah.
If you go to outside the panel,
it was mostly Alex Kurtzman talking about things that they literally haven't got a shred of anything to show yet.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was just, we'll see.
I don't know, I've just seen something from Discovery.
I was
they announced it was coming.
Yeah.
They still haven't got it. It's finished, but they don't have a date.
Yeah.
Which I was like, well...
Yeah, there really wasn't. I was expecting a lot of stuff for the Discovery. It's its final year.
We've had a trailer, then we had that sort of teaser clip.
Yeah. I guess it's because the actors weren't available, but...
but you can still say, and here's...
Is there any kind of big convention or anything before it airs? Isn't it airing like February or something?
No, we haven't got a date.
Haven't got a date yet?
He just says 2024 still in the panel, and I'm like...
God.
That was their opportunity.
Yeah,
Big news, the final season Discovery's come in.
They should have had all the writers out. Fair enough, they haven't got the cast, but they should have had all the writers, all the directors hyping up, some other stuff. They got Frakes talking about it all the time. He's allowed to talk about directed stuff. Isn't he?
He's talking about Discovery.
He's been talking about Discovery in interviews
because he's a director, not an actor.
From an outside thing. Why the hell didn't they have him there?
I get the feeling that they felt like they needed to do a panel, but didn't have nothing to. Well, they did because they could have just given us a release date for Discovery.
Yeah.
Which is finished, but
I don't get that. Why weren't they should have been hyping up the final 2 for Lower Decks a bit?
I felt bad for him coming out of Comic-Con because I presume at some point it's not just him that makes decisions on having these panels. I presume Paramount
I suppose it must have been embarrassing coming out with so little to show.
And he's probably come out there and going...
It's probably why they did the Kid Cudi thing. We've got something! Here it is!
At the same time, I do think, well, why haven't they got a date settled for Discovery yet? I did wonder if they didn't want to... Like usually, they don't want to drop on the bandwagon of this end of the series that's currently going on. So obviously... Lower Decks is finishing, and I presume we might then get a date a couple of weeks' time. So then it doesn't overshadow.
In summing up for Comic-Con, it's a weird time for Trek.
If there was ever a show...
I'm going to say, a year ago we were really hyped and really happy, and I'm still am to a degree, but it's in this weird limbo at the moment, a little bit.
And again, I hate to keep bringing up, but the strikes, and I think that's what's put
that's exactly why things are limbo.
To everything, and obviously not blaming the writers or actors, I get why they're doing it. But that's obviously stopped
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So we're at this point now where we're like, well, you know, normally we've got a year's worth of Trek coming out, you know, and we've immediately breaks.
That's it. We're at this amorphous period of what's coming. We don't know.
Well,
we don't know.
You know, all the shows haven't been able to move forwards for their next
Yeah.
iteration, as it were.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird time.
Yeah, but we are getting Discovery next year.
Yeah.
Prodigy season 2.
Yeah.
Which again, he did thank the fans for that at the beginning. I did quite like that.
Yeah.
Fair play to me. He said it's not about us. You've actually saved that show. Would have been nice for him to turn around and say we'll try and bring him another season, but I presume again that's not his decision.
Again, even if they can do one episode to wrap things up or something, I just hope it doesn't end on a cliffhanger. That's my only hope.
And again, I don't want to run off on a tangent very quickly before we finish up, but I thought the whole Netflix buying the series was quite a weird one, considering all the fallout.
Yeah, there's rumoured fallout between Discovery and them, isn't there?
Yeah,
There's bit of bad blood.
So,
oh, God, yeah, where it just disappeared, didn't it?
Yes,
like a week before
it
was due to air, didn't it?
Yeah,
Series 4.
it's gone.
Like, it's coming? No, it's not.
I think we lost it in the UK. They had Paramount Plus, which was CBS All Access back then.
You had to watch it on Pluto or something,
yes,
didn't we? It was awful.
When it was on.
Yeah, it was scheduled
we
TV
had to watch
and
it
the
on
quality
TV.
was awful. Yeah.
But
some of us did. I
don't say it.
Yeah. Arr.
But yeah, so yeah, it was that was a weird time. So just the whole Netflix thing. I wonder if they're going for a power play. They think they've got a good show.
Yeah.
And they'll continue on it. It might thrive, but yeah, we've got to support Prodigy.
Yep, you've got to read between the lines with all of it.
Yes, a very weird Comic-Con. It'd be great
So,
to say loads of shows are coming, but
yeah, would be. But we'd love to hear what you think about what's
Yes.
going on. So drop a comment below and tell us your conspiracy theory.
because after this week's Lower Decks
Conspiracy theory. Or if you think all of this is 100% above board and it's all going to 100% happen and you can't wait.
I think what we do know is there's going to be a draft for Trek next year.
Yeah, there is. But we will still be churning out content and
Yes.
talking about Trek regardless. So hopefully we will fill your gap. And on that note, if you could like and subscribe, drop a comment below, tell me I'm disgusting. That'd be fantastic. And we will hopefully see you in the next one.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.